Hi, this is Curt, and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
So in Denver, we have a lieutenant who is fired over offensive comments. Now, there's not much more to this other than, but I want to repeat some of the types of comments. But people, have this belief, oh, I can say anything I want under free speech, and you can't fire me for that. At least in Denver, that's not the case. But here, this is a pretty federal issue. And this isn't a lawsuit. This is just, right, what you reported was he's just fired. He makes three types of comments. One that says the Holocaust never happened. Now, I got to tell you, I'm Jewish, but if you want to believe that the Holocaust never happened, okay, I don't know that I could fire you for that stupid comment, right?
You know what? When I hear people say stuff like that, I mean, certainly they have, fine, you have a First Amendment right to say it, but I think less of them. I mean, I don't feel like I have to challenge, like, really? Okay, whatever,
Exactly.
You think the earth is flat? Okay, whatever.
Right. And so and let me just say, the first two of these comments are horribly offensive, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know that they justify, not that I'd want this person working for us, but It's the third one that I think crosses the free speech line. So that, understand, that's why I'm starting off with, he says the Holocaust never happened. I'm Jewish. So all the Jewish firefighters out there, and we know there's only two because your mothers would never let you do this. Speaking with hi, Mom. Anyway, speaking with their Jewish mother. The second one is, and this is, look, Martin Luther King Day, what a horrible day to have to say this, but he made a comment that slaves were lucky to be brought to the U.S. Obviously horribly offensive, but here's the thing. The first Holocaust thing is, okay, maybe he's just so ignorant he doesn't believe it or he's been brainwashed. Okay. The second one, slaves were lucky. You can kind of have an opinion, hey, didn't it work out well for you later? I'm not saying that, but but as an opinion, free speech doesn't cross, opinions are generally protected, right? So it's like defamation. If it's my opinion, you're an idiot, you can't sue me, you can't win for a lawsuit for defamation. But here's his third one, back to my religion here. He says, Hitler was a better person than Abraham Lincoln. Okay, now there is no way, in my opinion, legal opinion, to say that is not intentionally horribly offensive in such a way as to alienate your African-American community, your Jewish community, such that you just can't serve as a firefighter, right? And so the department says, look, there's no room for racism here. And these comments are just incompatible with wearing our uniform, and you're out. I agree with that. If it was only the first two comments, while they're ignorant and sensitive and stupid, I don't know whether or not that would withstand some challenges. But the last one, Hitler was a better person than Abraham Lincoln. You can't ever say somebody who killed a bunch of people, right? That's not opinion. Well, it crosses the line.
Those were the only ones listed in the article. So there may, in fact, I mean, as well as I do, when you do the investigation, there may, in fact, be additional things that weren't certainly in the news article. I tried to find a copy of the disciplinary letter or the notice of discipline to get some additional facts. I wasn't able to find it, but I'm assuming that there's more than just those three things as well.
Right. And look, I think the real interest to this article is more on the Black Lives Matter controversy, because Black Lives Matter, again, don't shoot me. This is a Martin Luther King Day, so maybe it's not the greatest time to have this. But, people can say, look, Black Lives Matter, I agree with the organization or I don't. Not the message, the organization, right? So commenting on the organization is very different than commenting on the message that all Black lives matter. All lives matter, of course they do. And then you come back with, well, all lives matter, right? Well, you can't disagree with that comment, but what was the intent of the comment? And then you get the blue lives matter and the thin blue line, and right? And it starts to get to a point where the courts recognize healthy debate. They don't recognize hate speech. They don't allow hate speech. The problem is, and I'm getting way off topic, but not, is that hateful speech, hate speech. And by the way, the U.S. Supreme Court said hate speech is speech not only that's offensive, it's meant to intimidate somebody. For example, a noose in itself may be offensive, but that's not hate speech. I hang a noose over a black male's picture or in their locker, right? True case. Then that becomes hate speech because I used it to intimidate. So here, they're not really going on a hate speech thing. They're just saying your speech doesn't make you the type of employee we want to have, which begs the question, is that enough to terminate somebody? Right? So we don't agree that you're a Democrat. We don't agree with you're a Republican. We don't, I mean, there's certain things where you start to wonder what crosses the line. Would I terminate the person? Hell yes. But as a lawyer, is it defensible? I don't know. You might. This is right on the line.
Another thing that comes up in these cases is what's the difference between a firefighter and an officer? Because once an officer starts making these comments, and certainly as you go further up and further up in the organization, certainly when the chief makes these, imagine the fire chief making these statements. I mean,
right. And goodbye First Amendment. Doesn't matter.
Well, the First Amendment doesn't recognize that necessary difference between a firefighter and an officer. But certainly, I think that the willingness of an organization to tolerate certain things changes with rank. And we've got to recognize that as well.